For me, I see it more and more in these past few days. I find them absolutely hilarious, but it's crazy that they exist, which is this trend, so to speak, where it's like day 5 of sharing something that an AI founder said that is completely against humanity in broad daylight,
Damn.
something
Okay.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Whereas like some of these quotes from some of the people high up there, like Sam Altman, like OpenAI, and like Palantir is also very up in the AI front. I think some of the quotes that you hear these men say is also like, okay, this is interesting to also see their headspace in regards to this technology. There's so many, I guess, scientific or science fiction ideas about, okay, robots will take over humanity at one point or another, and it sounds so far-fetched, but then hearing some of the leading people talk about AI sometimes, I'm like, okay, guys, what are we trying to achieve here?
I'm curious. I mean, that doesn't sound out of line with what they usually talk about. So like that makes a lot of sense. But I'm curious if like you have any specific quotes you're referring to.
I don't have a direct quote, and I don't want to put words in someone else's mouth. It's just
Yeah.
the general aspect and like vibe that comes across. It's like, okay, yeah, there are too many people, anyways, so let's just have robots take over. And I do like their enthusiasm about this technology, about what comes out there. I think a big time is also, I mean, even if we look at Elon Musk, there is a discrepancy also between the intelligence and the drive to develop technology, as well as the communication to actually bring that to the outside world. And I think a lot of times you can't expect a human to just be perfectly well in communicating their ideas that are so sometimes already part in code, or however you want to put it. So I don't want to put bad will against them either. It's just sometimes you hear quotes and you're like, okay, man, this is this is some interesting developments.
Yeah. So I mean, on that front, like I actually read some tweet the other day saying like the OpenAI. So you've heard of like Elon Musk suing Sam Altman through like OpenAI, right?
Hmm.
So like basically, for those who don't know, like OpenAI, like Elon was part of OpenAI as well before, and then he left when he just basically had disagreements with Sam Altman and the direction of OpenAI. He wanted like that was back in the day when OpenAI was a for-profit like a non-profit organization rather. Um, and their mission was like, yeah, like we want to do AI research and like bring the best of AI to humanity for everyone, blah blah blah. Like it was a very inclusive mission. I'm sure this is not verbatim what the mission is, but like something like really like humanitarian centric, and research focused. But then Sam Altman decided to make it a for-profit organization, and now basically Elon is suing them and Sam Altman um, for doing that. Basically, like you're going against the mission, and he's suing them for like $100 billion or something like that. Yeah, it's saying the estimated damages are between 79 and 134 billion. So anyway, between that. And which is interesting because like even I think a few days ago or yesterday even, um, I think Sam Altman sent like a letter to I think just people close, like maybe like the stakeholders of OpenAI, um, saying that like the damages are not going to be, they're only going to be like maybe like 20-30 million estimated. Um, but yeah, like anyways, the point is like, I think the point is like, it's just a power game. You know what I mean? To me, taking a company from non-profit from non-profit to for-profit um sounds like it's more for the money. Like yeah, because you're obviously going to a for-profit, right? But it sounds like yeah, like why did you do that when you had like access to arguably the best source of funds as a non-profit organization, which is Elon, and you had a great visionary leader to piggyback off of. So it's like I think he just thought he could just do his own thing and like become a billionaire and become a powerful individual, which he has become. So
Undoubtedly. I mean,
yeah,
if that was his game plan, then it worked. At least for now. I
yeah,
mean, if we talk about 2026 most powerful people in the public eye, I mean, he's up there in the top 100 for sure, if not higher.
yeah. Like from a preferential standpoint, like legal consequences aside, whatever. Like I'm just like I actually would respect him more if I mean this goes for anyone, not just about Sam Altman, but like if he just said like, look, yeah, man, I saw more financial feasibility just like doing it myself, taking it for profit, and yeah, it's a capitalist world. I took the capitalistic decision, and that's what I wanted to do. Like at least if you owned it, I would respect you, right? um, but I guess yeah, like of course there's like legal concerns, blah blah blah. But yeah,
That's true. It's strangely sneaky. It's like
yeah,
it doesn't, and I think that's something overall in society which I think is so needed is transparency, where it's just
yeah,
everyone kind of pushes things under the rug and expecting people not to see this huge dent in the rug. Because we also live in a time where nothing has been ever more on the view for everyone. So hiding things gets significantly more difficult, but then not owning up to it is it's really strange. It's really this mixture. You see it in politics, and even if you say, I mean, that's company politics. It's so interesting how everything is just pushed aside, but the social networks are just exploding things. And then
yeah.
there are companies that control those too, what gets seen, what gets shown. And it's just generally, it's such an interesting time to exist as a human.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, it's not like it's not like Elon is like devoid of any like such things in himself. Like he's also playing these power games. I'm sure he's acquired Twitter in basically a hostile takeover, right? Laid off like half the staff, more than half the staff. Um, but from a business standpoint, yeah, like you could say, hey, he's like made the business more financially like feasible and better. Sure, that makes sense. But it's like at the end of the day, everyone's kind of like just playing their own game, right? To get get up in the world. It's like it's a hierarchy. Everyone's playing their own hierarchical game. Um, but I think like I think in the on the if I compare Sam Altman to Elon Musk, just going back to that example, there's more respect for Elon Musk, I think, than Sam Altman. Um, because I think, I mean, of course, there's people who hate Elon as well. Like, there's a very like controversial, like both ends of the spectrum with Elon. But one thing for sure is like this guy has been on camera more and shown his vulnerability more on camera, and they've seen like a more authentic portrayal of him, right? So it's like he's sometimes very rash, sometimes he's very like he said fuck you to the Disney. He's like go fuck yourself to the head of Disney on a fucking interview on like live television, right? So yeah, like you could say like that was disrespectful, whatever, but like it's a guy just like expressing himself, a guy who's like crying about like Tesla almost coming to a collapse during the 2007 2008 recession. Um, it's real. There's elements. Look, I'm not saying he's always real, but we've seen snippets and glimpses of it, and that's like that alone is like enough to bring respect and trust. Honesty brings trust. It's not like pretending to be nice, basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like we even respect like a um let's say someone who's got like a drug business, but he's like honest about like his upbringing, whatever, like and he's unapologetic about his decisions. Like if he just owns it, it's weird. Like that brings more trust and like people accept him more, even if it's completely against what they would do.
Yeah. No, it's incredibly true. I mean, I guess in a pop culture example, Breaking Bad, like Walter
Mm.
White, like hiding it the whole time from his family, etc. Like, no, no, no. But I think it breeds respect to actually then say it and be honest and upfront about it. Because it's like, I think people are more bugged by the sneakiness than the honesty. If it's still a bad thing, but at least you're honest about it. I feel
Yeah,
like it's better in a very strange way. It's like this thing, even like relationship wise, cheating, right? Cheating is one thing, but like if you don't say it, it's so much worse than
yeah,
when you do. Even though it's essentially the same thing, but there's this layer of trust and honesty to like, hey, I made a mistake or whatever, in regards to, oh no, I'm just doing it and I'm just gonna not tell anyone. Because
yeah.
that's
Because
really what breeds. Yeah.
there's like that integrity. There's some level of integrity in owning the like everything about yourself, like not just the good parts that you're marketing to the world, but like the bad parts, right? And owning that as well. It requires some integrity, right? To be like, hey, I'm willing to face the negative stigma, any backlash that comes from it. And it's kind of courageous, I would say, right? Like we're all like not perfect. Like we all have our imperfections, our dark side, whatever it is. But we don't typically show it. We try to portray like on social media or wherever like that we're not that person. Um, but yeah, I'm a flawed human being and accept it is like the first step, I guess.
Yeah, it really is that idea of, Carl Jung calls it the shadow. This idea of the parts of ourselves that just are flawed, that through some way or another we have these things we carry around, and then it's so interesting to see in society all of the different masks that we put on in order to be accepted by the tribe or the general society. And I think it is absolutely courageous and admirable if we see people take the mask off in front of a lot of people, because I also think it allows us to connect with that part of ourselves and take our own mask off as well by experiencing someone be this authentic, which I think is also a reason for if when you said Elon Musk and the podcast example, or I guess long form interviews, right? It's you can only be inauthentic for so long, especially in a conversation in a different setting. I think there's always parts of ourselves that shine through in those. So would you say that going on podcasts is what these AI founders should do more often?
I mean, they are actually. So if you look at, well, Joe Rogan, right, the pioneer of all podcasts, um, like basically, if you look at Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg, he never used to do all this stuff. Like you look at his like I think he's got had like a complete branding and PR makeover over the last few years. He looks like a Gen Z kid. You know what I mean? He's very TikTok appropriately dressed. His hair is like those like TikTok generation people. He's pretty swagged out. He's got these like loose fit t-shirts, and he comes on Joe Rogan, has a long form podcast, trying to make I'm sure it's like part of the campaign, right? Like try to present yourself as being more human and personable and not a robot, because like all of these conspiracy theories say that he's a reptile or something. um, but that's the point. Like it's like honest conversations, like presenting yourself in authenticity brings trust. Trust is the greatest asset a brand can have, right? Because when they trust you, they will buy your product. They will align with your values that you're spreading, or like whatever else you do as that comes with the trust. Like it's like that's how you build a following, and that's why I think like the greatest companies and the greatest, most trusted CEOs. Like that, like that's why I see a lot of CEOs coming into the public limelight. It's like you need to build that following, right? So yeah, anyways, I forgot your question, but like I just felt like
No, I think it's
if
very
that
good.
was
I
a
think
question. Yeah.
I think that trust, especially for big CEOs, it starts internally as well, right? I think that's also a big issue. Like, not big issue, but if you have a following in your company, if you have people that are working with you to build your vision, then I think that also goes to the outside. I think the more people you have on your side, I think it benefits both sides of the scale. When you would say, like, just in your own, I guess, environment in San Francisco, would you say that building trust is what these AI startups are kind of also attempting to do? Or is this more like also on the wayside, like, okay, let's get rich and whoever is with us and whoever isn't?
I mean, I see like when it's a smaller stage company, usually that's more of a luxury afforded to people with more resources and time, basically. But usually it's like, yeah, like they'll probably say it, but um, more often than not, you don't see really like it's more just like, hey, this is the new cool thing. It's a big opportunity and it's an exciting time. Like, you know, it's very like pragmatic, capitalistic kind of, right? But which is fine, I guess. Like, yeah, I mean, everyone's trying to make it, you know. I think SF, especially when you're a funded startup, you become like a cocoon to the problems of the rest of the world. You know, the people who are who like fresh graduates struggling to get a job, or whatever, right? Um, that's not to say like that there are no opportunities. I think I'm seeing at least in software, like the new grads are actually struggling to get jobs because partially because of AI, because a lot of their like what they would have done is much easier done by AI now. So you need people who have experience, and when you bring an experienced professional and give them AI tools, they become like like way more efficient in what they do. Um, but if it's like a new grad with like no experience, then yeah, they can like they're calling it vibe coding now, right? It's like you can just like talk to AI and like figure out how to like build some random product. But it like the real problem is like when you get many users, like will this app like actually last? Are there any bugs? You know, is is it like production ready? Is what they call it. So, but yeah, like anyways, the slight tangent, but like essentially SF is much very much a bubble. Um, there's like it's a portal into different dimensions, and like in if you choose the if you get funded, you enter the capitalistic like power game, and then if you don't, you're like scrapping to stay alive because like rent is freaking ridiculous here, and like food of cost of living is expensive. So like it's ticking time bomb if you're not funded, and you're still ticking if you're funded. You just have extended your runway until the next funding round or whatever, right? That's how it works.
And are those funding rounds, is it like once a year every company has the same funding round, or is it like
No, no.
throughout, like, no, not regulated?
I mean, it's regulated, but it's like, look, so let's say I have this AI, I don't know, let's say image generation app, like which we have seen already many. I'll go pitch to investors, whatever, or maybe I'll apply to a startup like program that gives me funding. Like maybe they'll give me like initial check of like up 200K, $500K, depending on the program. And then afterwards, like as you get more traction, maybe the product is more fleshed out, you get more users, um, you pitch to more investors to raise a seed round. A seed round is typically like usually like $1 to $3 million. So yeah, it's anywhere between that range, usually the first check. Now you're seeing like because it's the AI bubble and like you're seeing checks that are like really big for a seed. Like I mean, 6 million is like still I've seen that happen, but like it's sometimes it's hit 10. I've seen companies hit 20. Recently I said 100 million seed. I was like, what does that even mean? I don't know what it means. But the point is like, yeah, the first check really depends on what you're working on, how much potential it has, and what the investors believe the value of the company is, basically, right? But yeah, like the process is still the same. It's like your first round of funding gets you to like ideally to figure out a product that gets you repeat customers that love your product. That's what they call product market fit. And then the next round of funding is to like grow and like expand, basically. That's usually how it goes. Um, but yeah, that's I guess like that's a quick crash course.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, and it makes it sound so easy, like in a way of like, just apply here, get a quick little 200K, like in my mind, I'm like, let me figure out this new
Yeah, but
AI
there's also
product.
like less than 5% acceptance or something like that. Yeah.
And how many people apply?
I'm not sure what the numbers are, to be honest. Like Y Combinator is probably the most famous like startup accelerator, which is like
Mhm.
where Airbnb, Stripe, Reddit, like all these big companies went through, right? So it's like
Wow.
really like the best accelerator in the world right now. Um, but yeah, like I don't know what the acceptance rate. Maybe I should Google this, but I would imagine it's like getting into Harvard, basically. It's like Harvard for startups, right? So it must be
Okay,
single
yeah.
digit percentage. Um, Acceptance rate. I mean, this is the quick Google search. It says like reported to be between 1 to 2%. Yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. Um, so yeah, it's tough. Like, of course, there's an element of luck depending on like who's interviewing you, blah blah blah. But yeah, like overall, there's some very smart people, of course, capable people getting into these programs. But yeah, the thing is like, yeah, it's very easy to think the world works this way in SF, but it really doesn't. Um, and it's very easy, I see here, to become disassociated from the reality of the average person who's outside of SF or even in SF actually. Like I do the simple like Uber driver test, which is for me the test of what the probably middle class person in a city feels. And they're not feeling that great. I have a conversation, they're like, yeah, day's being pretty good, blah blah blah. And then like almost always it ends up to like Uber's ripping me off. They're taking like 70%. I get like 20%. And I'm barely like basically barely making ends meet. I'm like, that's fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, same story in Lisbon, right? It's crazy, especially with it's not, I think, as big of a tech bubble as SF is, but I think it is very much a digital nomad haven where so many people from all over the world come and bring foreign money to a point where an apartment in Lisbon for the average Portuguese person is like not sustainable at all, which is just
Mm.
crazy. So it is interesting also to see how those like I guess bubble cities, which I think in a way most cities have some sort of bubble. I think some more than others, of course. But it is really fascinating to also see that kind of drift in society become more and more. Also, I would say inhabiting the same spaces, but in different roles. Which I mean, I guess is also a new concept. But I think especially with this border of rich and poor, it's as you say, it's like executives being driven around by people doing Uber drives or get their food delivered by whatever service. And it's crazy to see this like the bridge of things of like, oh, luxurious restaurant, minimum wage worker delivering delicious food to like executives. It's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the truth with AI seems to be like where it's heading. I think is like often in the middle, like between like what these top executives would say, like, hey, like AI is actually improving our lives. Like, of course, some jobs will disappear, but that means new ways of working will appear. Like, so new jobs will appear basically to replace those old jobs. But it's not very clear what that looks like. Um, the middle part is that I align with Elon's perspective here. He says that, like, look, most of the shit that we have jobs for are just gonna disappear, right? Like, we're not gonna need to do really anything anymore. I think what we need to think about more practically is like basic sustenance for households, right? Like a UBI system, that it doesn't have to be like, basically, if no one has, like, if companies are not financially incentivized to hire more people, why should they hire more people? You know? So, and if they're not going to hire more people, then who's going to pay their bills? Who's going to pay their food, pay for the food, shelter? So you need to subsidize that. And I think governments can do it if they really wanted to. We have so much tax revenue. You can divert some of that revenue to the people. It shouldn't be that difficult. Um, it's just the real problem is like coordination at that level. Like, how do like, how does the government coordinate? Because there are still competing. Government is comprised of people, and especially in U.S. government, right? Like, it's like politics is like a power game again. So like, it's like basically the individual self-interests are coming at conflict with the collective interests, right?
Mhm.
So it's at some point when that is reconciled, that's when like stuff like UBI and like systems that actually help people will come to fruition.
And what is
I don't know. I don't have the
UBI
answer.
exactly?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So UBI is just like a universal basic income. So it's
Ah,
kind of,
okay.
yeah. So it's like that nomenclature for just like giving everyone a basic level of it, like income or salary, so that they can pay for livelihood.
It'd be interesting to really see that put in practice, you know. I mean, all of those utopia films or utopia stories always kind of also picture it as dystopian at the end of the day. Everyone has the same
It's
house.
but there's elements of kind of what UBI would look like. Like, I think in Europe there's a few countries, right, that are already paying like their citizens a basic amount of money even if they don't have a job.
Yeah,
Correct
there
me.
is that. Like Germany has a system like that where people that don't have a job get paid. But I mean, there are some regulations. It's not like everyone just gets it.
Yeah,
It's
it's not like you just chill
yeah,
at
yeah.
home and get paid. Yeah.
Well, depends. I mean, the German system has I don't know. I mean, politics are a thing for itself, but it isn't necessarily. You don't need to do anything. It's just as it goes with systems. Some people like to abuse it. Other people are like overly disadvantaged from it as well. So
Mhm.
it's not this ideal world of okay, yeah, you live and that's be and for that reason you get universal base income. It's just yeah, there are layers to
Yeah,
it.
but this is the thing, right? I don't think enough people are talking about this stuff or trying to figure out how to how to do this or anything. Like, people just trying to figure out like, okay, how do I use the latest AI to build a product for myself and then like monetize it again? So that's like what's happening.
Yeah, it's the thing also this you know, a sentence often said like you know, communism is great in theory, you know, um
Yeah.
terrible in practice, but I think it is also this idea of acceptance to have exactly what the neighbor has is also needing to come from within, you know, this
Hmm.
race that's currently there in capitalism, this idea of okay, now we need to own everything, we need to be the richest man of Babylon, you know, and everyone hustling towards it, is also not necessarily looking to the side, yet it's also with a lot of people pulling that way. It's almost like you're being hit by the wave and like, okay, now I got to join the game if I want to be able to, you know, to eat and provide for my family and stuff like that. So it's an
Yeah.
interesting game.
If you look at Gen Z, right, I feel like there's a split. It's a polar opposite split with that generation. The younger generations are basically super capitalistic to the point where they're like, screw relationships, screw marriage, screw kids, screw everyone, screw my health, screw like everything. I just want money and I want to get rich. I want to live fast. I want to die young. Like that's it. Like that's it. I just want everything right now, right? And then you have the opposite where it's like the system sucks. I don't want to live in this kind of system. I'm gonna like be more spiritual, be more grounded, kind of thing, and just like get away from this like system. Um, but I think there's more of the first than the second. Um, and I guess like the point is that if we don't start portraying new role models, new heroes for the younger generation, then they're going to keep going back to the stuff that's destroyed us, right? If we're only showing like the capitalist that doesn't care about anything else except money, then they are going to look up to that because the society is like rewarding that. And they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to be rewarded for being that. So I'm just going to do that as well.
Yeah, of course. At the end of the day, it's also to kind of create a bit of a circle, this idea of trust, right? And I think the trust also goes into a larger scale into the system itself. And I think especially with how transparent or with how unfolding social media is, everyone gets the opportunity to have so many different role models or so many different ideologies and so many different ways of living. That everyone is kind of confronted with subconsciously by just watching this content on social media. And I think that has the power to also see, oh, look at everything that's possible, but also to create this scheme of like feeling behind. Like, oh, I'm going on my app and my friend is in Vietnam and the other one is currently in the Eiffel Tower. And it's this highlight reel of people doing all different types of things. And it's like this hustle to get there, but then also the resistance to hustle to get there, because it's this other aspect of, you have like the climate change that's becoming more and more of an issue for like the younger generation, or especially here in Europe. And it's just it's such a weird mix of like a cloud moving around and people jumping out of it trying to get air, and it's an interesting point. And I think you hit a very good point, like becoming a role model or like creating a new role model in society for young people to look up to. But I think in a very weird way, I think it's more about the collective. Like we need more role models, but it's not going to be that one person anymore because it's so diverse. I mean, how many people nowadays on social media have like over 100K followers? That's a lot of people. And that's a lot, like there's a lot of people following, but that's also a lot of people that have that type of reach. And I think that is also a diversification of role models.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, my version of what you described is LinkedIn, or like that vortex that makes you feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough. Like I've got to compete with this, like what this guy's doing. It's like LinkedIn is just like, because I deactivated my Instagram, right? So I don't really scroll Instagram, but like I scroll LinkedIn sometimes. And it's just like new AI startup launches almost like every single post at this point. So I'm just like, oh, I need a LinkedIn detox. Just like, yeah, bro, you go do your startup. Like, let me just like chill here.
LinkedIn is crazy. Also, LinkedIn is such a subtle flex that everyone kind of celebrates, but I feel like the celebration is like semi-genuine. It's like it is that feeling of like, great job, congratulations.
Yeah.
Passive aggressiveness in that.
No, but it's like even LinkedIn just like auto suggests those messages. So like half the time it's not even them sending it, And like the funniest shit is like when I see, let's say like someone posts like, oh, okay, I just announced like my seed round of funding, blah blah blah. We're building X for Y, and they'd be like in the comments, oh yes, X is such a great innovation. It's a unique for like it's definitely what we need as people like and I'm just like, dude, is this ChatGPT? Like, or like, are you just like, what are you? First of all, what are you trying to get? Because that guy most likely doesn't even know who the heck you are. So you literally just wasted time if that's what you wanted to get attention from that guy. I don't understand these like LinkedIn like in comments enthusiasts, especially. You know what I mean? Like, why are you spending time and like doing so much in the comments? Just build the company that or product or whatever that you want to do. You know what I mean?
I I don't know in general. I mean, but that's I think just a human phenomenon. I mean, I'm confused all the time. Like I like it when someone comments on posts, of course. I rarely do leave a comment on anything, but it's just like the need to kind of socialize and talk about things is like comment sections in general are so they're their own dimension. It's like whatever the content is
Okay.
one thing, and then comment section is another.
The comment section I love a lot is actually like some YouTube channels. Like the YouTube comment section is like sometimes really good. It's funny, like there's like comedy in there. So I love that. But like it's I'm just talking about like specific like I guess like status seeking comment sections, you know.
Yeah, LinkedIn mastered that for sure.